Hey everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com. Today we're going to make this really fun card. This uses a new stamp set and set of dies. Actually, I shouldn't say it's new. It's a carryover from the spring mini catalog. It's called On the Ocean. It also has a great set of coordinating dies. I actually want to make another card with just using more so the dies and not the stamps, but this time I was trying to focus on making something that was more stamped images, because sometimes for Stamp Club I get a little overzealous and we do a whole lot of die cutting, and I wanted to do more stamping, minimal die cutting. So I'm going to show you one other thing we're going to use. These are the stitched shapes. I think that's what it's called. So you have circles, squares, and then pennant flags, which are what we use for this. So I'm going to show you one other thing. We're using Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon. These are both returning colors, and then Pebbled Path is actually one of the new in colors. If you don't have this color, you could also use Basic Gray. Smoky Slate isn't quite dark enough, but I liked this one because it was different. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to do some stamping, then, or I should say stamping, we're going to let this dry, then we will do all of our background stamping, okay? So, it looks like a lot. Actually, it's pretty, is this the right one? Okay, hold on 1 second, I grabbed the wrong thing. Here we go. So, this is one of the stamps from Stamp Club that we did recently. If you have missed my previous video, after Stamp Club, I completely lost my voice. So that is why I'm so late in filming this. So this is going to be our inside panel. And these were kind of, I layered them so they kind of looked like a picture. So they're not really necessarily layered pieces. 3.5 approximately by about 4 3/4. And then this one is 3 7/8 by about 5. So just approximations, because I wanted them to kind of be able to layer together and still say on the front. So that's what I went for. I just kind of jiggered it around to see what I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the pirate ship, and I'm going to do the I'd Be Lost Without You on this. So let me get those out. I have all my stamps mounted. Oh, one other thing I want to show you. So one of the pieces in the background here actually uses this large watercolor image from Artistically Inked. So I kind of wanted like a double background so it looked like it was going somewhere. So we're going to do, this one will be in the background, and then this is in the foreground. So once we get there, I'll show you. But just got to move these around. And I think I'm going to change sentiments. Instead of I'd Be Lost Without You, I'm going to use You Are a Treasure. So we're going to get our Pebbled Path, and I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap. Okay. All right. And you're going to die cut this, so there you go. So it's pretty nice color. We are still going to need this for the birds, so hang on to that. And then I'm going to do You're a Treasure in Pretty Peacock. And I was confused there for a little bit. I was saying that, oh, I can't remember what it is now. Well, something different was coming back. I was wishing it Tranquil Tide, which I also like, but that's okay. So You Are a Treasure. And again, we're still going to need the rest of these. Okay, but I'm going to set these two aside just to dry before we die cut those, and we'll work on the background piece. So for our background panel, we're going to be doing some stamping off. Okay, so we're going to start with this large watercolor image, and it kind of just goes diagonally across the bottom. This is Lost Lagoon. And what we're going to do is we're going to stamp it off, and then stamp it kind of on the bottom, just like so. You want something lighter. Then we're going to go into Full Strength for Pretty Peacock, and that's going to be the kind of the more detailed wave portion. And same thing, so you're going to have your pirate ship kind of riding the wave. So I did it twice. Okay, and I just went up here again. You could even do a third one if you wanted to. It just really depends. Now, some of these may look a little bit darker, just depends. I think I inked this after Club, so that's probably why. And then we're going to come in again, I should have done this in the beginning, with Lost Lagoon, and we're going to do our clouds. So you can see I have different variances of the clouds. So some are a little bit lighter. I'm going to stamp a couple of these off. And you have to be careful when you stamp that off. So you can see I have like a different layer here. There's actually a line. So you want to just be careful because you don't want something that looks partially stamped off. If you restamp this, you will see a line of darker ink. So just try to avoid that if you can. We'll just do one more up top. Okay, that's fairly similar. And then we're going to bring back our pebbled path for the birds. And they can kind of be however you want. I try to tend to go with like changing them up just so we don't have all the same birds. I'm going to stamp this off as well. There we go. All right, so fairly similar. Okay, so we're going to set all of this to the side. And I have to grab one thing out of here. Move all these over. All right, so we need our pirate ship. This is a die that cuts out this entire pirate ship. Now, I'm not going to do the flag on this one, just so you can see what it looks like without. So we're going to die cut that. And then we also need, and this one should be the same. We should be good with this. Yeah, for you or a treasure. So we're going to just die cut these two things. I am going to use a little piece of Post-it tape. So I kind of want this lined edge hanging off here. So I'm just eyeballing it. And I am going to also put a piece on here just so I make sure it stays where I set it. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to grab my magnetic platform and I'm going to put both of these on. Again, I am still using my Big Shot. It works. I don't really want to buy something different. When you have one note, when you have something that has a hard line like this, you want to turn it because you don't want the rollers making contact straight on with it because it can actually bend your die. So if you have anything that's a straight edge, try to just slightly set it askew. Okay, and then that one just popped right out pretty simply. And just set this here. Okay, so now all we have to do is assemble. So we're going to, and we need our inside panel as well. So we're going to put this on first, but we are going to pop it up with dimensionals. Okay, I'm going to put this here so you can see as we're following along. And I probably cut it just a little bit off. I'll show you in 1 minute. One more at the bottom. Because you can see a little bit more white in the back, but it doesn't really matter. So if you want them to be going up just a little bit, doesn't need to be massively. But one other thing I want to show you before we finish is if you have, where is one? And I know it's full. If you have a wink of Stella, you can kind of go over it just a little bit. Now, keep in mind, this will blend the color, so you'll kind of lose the detail of the sails, but just a little bit if you would like. It's really up to you. Now, I'm not pressing. I'm just using whatever is on the nib here, which quite honestly is plenty. Okay. All right, and looks good. Now, the only other thing you want to do is just kind of eyeball where you put your sentiment. So this is a little bit bigger. So I probably may put this, let me see. Let's get this all together first and we can take a look. So we're going to pop this here. Kind of put this off a little bit. Put this here. Because I don't really want to cut off too much of the, yeah, so the nice part is it will fit, but I'm probably not going to pop it up. I'm just going to glue it down. I just didn't want to cut anything off, but with our birds there, we should be good. So we're going to put this on after the fact, but we're going to glue it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one first. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but we really certainly have some wind blowing here today in Maryland. It's in the evening, I should say, so this evening. It was pretty nice today. And then kind of right at the end, a little bit of wind come in, which is nice. I don't mind it. All right, so there's one. And I don't know about you, but we've been watching Pirates of the Caribbean quite a lot. Pirates of the Caribbean, whatever it is you want to say. And whenever I make this, I'm humming this song in my head, which is kind of funny. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Oops, I got a little advantageous extra, whatever you want to call it, with my glue down here, but it'll dry clear. It's okay. And actually, where I put that, I could pop it up, but I think I'm going to leave it flat. And I am going to trim just this edge off. So I'm just going to put some glue here. And I just want to make sure my E is on there. As long as my E is on. That looks good. Now when you trim anything and you're going to lose a side of it, you always want to make sure that you open it and flip it over. It makes it a little easier to line it up exactly. There you go. That looks really good. So that's it. A pretty simple card. I know there was a little bit of die cutting, but I do think bringing in that extra piece from the, losing stuff here, from the Artistically Inked really helped because you had that extra little wave portion there. So let me know what you think about this card. Is this something that you maybe would consider purchasing now since you've seen it made? And it's not necessarily really like a kitty kind of card. I think it's pretty cool, but also flag or no flag, depending on what it is you wanted to do. One other thing just to note is this does have, it has a lot of dies as well. So it's kind of neat because it has 2 flags. So if you were making a lot of these cards, you could certainly mass produce them and make more things. The nice part is too, it also cuts out the detail portion of waves, which is pretty cool. And then you have just the wave flow. So I want to definitely work with that. And then you do also have a skull and crossbones, but quite honestly, I found that this was just a little bit too large for the size of this flag. So I wanted to do it before, but it really would totally be hanging off. That's why I ended up doing the stamped version, which is much smaller, and putting it on there. So that's something else you could do if you wanted to. Just kind of depends on, I guess, what kind of look you're going for. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure that you give me a thumbs up here. Leave a comment. I would love to hear from you if you have a question about this or a suggestion. I think this color theme is just amazing. Excuse me. I can see myself doing a lot of Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock in the future. It's a really gorgeous combination. So if you haven't already, make sure you share this with one of your friends. Leave me a comment there. Give me a like if you haven't already. I would love for you to subscribe. But if you do, make sure you turn on notifications, turn that bell on, and we'll let you know when I make a new video. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get any of these supplies and more, you can go to my online store 24/7, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Hope you have a great day.